access to leading criminal justice researchers and practitioners, knowledge of evidence-based best practices, customized training and technical assistance, peer networking, a strategic site liaison to guide sites through the VRN. Our liaison will be Chief Daniel Isom, is the strategic site liaison for Jackson, Mississippi. Chief Isom is a former police chief for the city of St. Louis, Missouri. Partner sites are selected through a quantitative and qualitative selection process in consultation with the United States Attorney and Department of Justice law enforcement partners. VRN sites are communities with violence levels that far exceed the national average, geographical diverse with distinctive characteristics, multiple federal initiatives, or a unique law enforcement structure. Demonstrate commitment and readiness. There are 15 sites in the VRN. Phase 1 recently graduated from the VRN site 2016, Camden, New Jersey, Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan, Oakland, Richmond, California, Wilmington, Delaware. Phase 2, Compton, California, Flint, Michigan, Little Rock, Arkansas, Newark, New Jersey, West Memphis, Arkansas. Phase 3, the Jackson, Michigan, that's Jackson, Mississippi, yes. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Nashville, Tennessee, New Orleans, Louisiana, St. Louis, Missouri. Jackson plans to leverage the comprehensive DOG assistance of the VRN to develop a grant strategy and a comprehensive violence reduction strategy. Access technology, information sharing, and crime data analysis needs. Learn and adopt violence reduction best practices. The VRN has successfully supported other jurisdictions in their violence reduction initiatives. Examples of these successes can be found in the VRN annual online at www.vrnnetwork.org. Now, just a couple other comments. The reason why we are so excited about this is that y'all know as well as I do, we've talked about this from time to time as it relates to our crime situation in Jackson. As we sit right now, we are seeing a double-digit crime reduction. But I think we all know, and I'm certainly not afraid to admit, that we have way too many shootings in this city. Our murder rate is way out of whack with a city our size. So nothing could be more timely than us being selected as being a VRN city. So we're very excited at the prospects that this opportunity brings, and we're certainly happy that we're going to have a law enforcement professional like retired Chief Isom to help us to navigate our way through this thing. There are so many possibilities for assistance that it's the 3 days that we spent up there, it's difficult to digest them. So we're just excited about the process. We're ready to get started immediately, and hopefully we'll see some fruits, some benefits from being involved in this very soon after. All right? So, anybody got any questions?
I know that a couple of summers ago we were involved in the 90-day that turned into 120 days.
A couple of summers ago, the U.S. Attorney, Gregory Davis, who was really the driving force behind us being selected as a VRN city, and also, in my estimation, he's the best United States Attorney that we've ever had. He decided that he wanted to get the federal agencies involved in our violent crime fight. So we started formulating a list of the worst, and we were able to float a lot of those individuals through the federal system. And as of now, we're probably up to close to 24 indictments and several arrests, and some have already been sentenced. So when you try to contrast that against what we're doing now, This is more, in my estimation, a comprehensive extension of that. It's more help from the federal government in a lot of different ways, but all aimed at the same goal, and that's to help us to reduce violent crime. And I'm just going to tell you that we had an opportunity. I was accompanied by Chief White, Chief Wade, and Chief Davis, and we had an opportunity to meet the Attorney General of the United States, Loretta Lynch. She was there in person to kick this off. And in talking with some of her immediate staff, they told me specifically that Gregory Davis came to the Attorney General and he would not leave until he got some help for Jackson. So Greg is the big hero in this. We're the beneficiaries, and working together with the federal government, hopefully we'll see the type of reductions in our violent crime that's going to make Jackson a more safer place to live.
Without additional funding or extra officers on the street that this says that you don't get through this, what do you get really to fight crime on the streets?
Well, one of the things that comes to mind is technology assistance, right? Enhancing our ability to process fingerprints. We've had some issues with our APHIS system. They've made some possibilities available to us that's going to help us do that through budget reductions. We've lost a position of an individual that actually processed a lot of our fingerprints, right? This is going to help us to replace that particular function. There's going to be some grant funding that may be available to us that, you know, I can't even name all the possibilities that you can do with grant funding, right? So the possibilities are great. I'm going to be honest with you, David. They threw so much information at us over the 3-day period that I can't explain effectively probably all of the opportunities that are out there for us. That's why they've assigned Chief Isom to us. He's going to sit down with us in the near future. We're going to identify our needs, and then he will be the one that will help us to navigate our way through the system to see what will be available to us. But in listening to some of the other chiefs from some of the other cities, they were very happy with the results. Some of the ones that were getting ready to get phased out were actually crying to stay in the program. So I'm very excited about the possibilities. I'm just not able to articulate all the possibilities at this particular time, but as we move forward, we would certainly want the media to be involved to see what it is that this particular program is going to bring to us, and obviously to help inform the public and measure the results. So as we move forward, we will keep you updated. One of the things that I want to do, Chief Isom is going to be down here in the near future, and when he arrives, we'll call him up. We'll call y'all up, and we'll actually introduce him to y'all.
Who is he?
He's a former police chief of the city of St. Louis, Missouri. His role will be to help us navigate our way through all of the opportunities that will be available for us. And in order to do that, the first thing we must have is a comprehensive strategic meeting to try to see what our needs are that the VRN can address.
At this point, Chief Vance, what would you say are some of the things that the city of Jackson really needs as far as reducing crime?
Are you speaking of overall or specific to the VRN?
Either. I know you got an idea of some of the things they can offer, but right now, what would you say this city really needs?
I think we will probably have to schedule about an hour to talk about that, because let me just say this. A lot of our violent crime issues goes beyond the walls of this police department. As you saw yesterday, we just arrested a 16-year-old for capital murder. Quite frankly, those are not law enforcement issues per se. That's a family issue, right? So this is not going to be able to cure those type of ills. But what the citizens should take from this is that the Jackson Police Department, this particular command staff, we're going to go after anything that we believe will help us to reduce our violent crime situation. Because we believe that we're actually putting out a very good police work product. But everything that we do, especially right now when we're experiencing some historic lows in some of our crime reporting, is overshadowed, and rightfully so, by some of the violent crime that we're seeing in our city. Last weekend, we saw two individuals who got into some type of a shootout, and they end up inside a nail shop, putting the lives of innocent people at risk because of some type of dispute that they had not been able to quell in any other way. The conflict resolution piece is something that's a societal problem, but it's playing out is concerned. So I hope that answers your question, or put it in the right type of context about what direction we're trying to go in. Anybody else? All right. Anything else y'all got on your minds while I'm here?
Did you want to tell us about the two arrests and the 50th homicide?
Well, for specific details, I'll defer to Commander Jones. But again, just an unnecessary death. Two young men involved in it. One a teenager. So a double tragedy. A family has lost a loved one. A man has lost his life. And we've got two young men that have made terrible choices that apparently led to another individual's death. So just a tragedy all the way around, whichever way you look at it. And again, it goes back to the point I made a few minutes ago. We're working and we're trying to come up with everything that we can to minimize events like this. What a tragedy.
Do we know yet how they were connected? Because was this a random victim picked, or did they know each other, or?
We can go over that after we do the protocol
Okay.
downstairs. I have that information.
Okay, I'll defer to Commander on that. All right, anything else?
Can you talk about the lawsuit that was filed while you were gone?
Yeah. Okay. As a matter of practice, when a lawsuit against the city of Jackson is filed, and probably in general, people who are named as defendants in those lawsuits, from a general standpoint, are basically told by their legal counsel not to make comments as it relates to the specific claims in the lawsuit. And I respect that. I've been told the same thing by our legal counsel. But I will say this. I respect the process. A lawsuit has been filed. Claims have been made. Amendments have been filed. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not afraid about anything as it relates to this lawsuit. Once you get into a court of law, when people start to make claims, they must prove those claims. If you testify in the court of law, you must testify under oath, which basically means you must tell the truth or you could be held criminally liable. I'm not afraid of any of that either. In fact, I wish that we could go to court today, but we can't. I wish that I could go over these claims one by one and talk at length with you about them. But again, I respect the fact that we have counsel that's going to defend this lawsuit. I am just so anxious for our day in court to come, and I'm so anxious for the truth to come out. I have absolutely no fear of the truth. And I just can't wait until we get to court. Again, I wish we could go today. Anything
Last
else?
Question for me, Chief, back to this case. How
Yes.
disappointing is it that one of these young men is 16?
I think it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. Again, you know, some of these things are family issues. He was old enough apparently to know right from wrong. A bad set of decisions were made. And so bad turns to tragic as it relates to this. And we have too many instances where we see teenagers involved in violent crime, and quite frankly, too many times where we see teenagers involved in deadly crime. And that's not only here in the city of Jackson. That's a problem that's plaguing this country. So again, it has to be a comprehensive approach to making these situations better.
Real quick, on the fair issue.
Okay.
Are y'all having people at the fair this year, or what's good on that?
The fair, the plan is set. Basically, we're going to have the same arrangement that we had last year. And we have a plan in place. Chief Davis is going to be in charge of that plan. We're ready to go. We think it's going to keep everybody safe, and looks like if this weather holds up, we're going to have some traditional fair weather. So people need to be prepared to come down and have a good time, and they will see a presence on the part of the Jackson Police Department aimed at keeping everybody safe.
Chief, the documents across the street or in Chancery Court said specifically the Fair Commission was supposed to go to the legislature and reimburse the Jackson Police Department for the 2015 fair, the Dixie National Rodeo, and the 2016 fair. Have they done that?
I've been told that those arrangements have been made. We're ready to go.
I mean, the money's coming to you, or?
Yes,
Okay,
we're ready to go.
but have you been paid yet?
I don't handle the transaction of the money personally.
Right.
But on advice from those who do, we're ready to go.
Is that city legal?
Yes.
Okay.
We had the crossing guard deadline on Monday. Are we ready for that? Or?
Crossing guard issue was being taken care of or negotiated or worked out, whatever the right term is, I think between the mayor's office and the superintendent of JPS. So probably final comment about that needs to come from one of those entities. But I will tell you this, whatever it is that we have to do in lieu of or in spite of, we're going to do that to keep kids safe. We talked about safety in the school zone at the beginning of the school year. We've told people if you speed through that school zone, you're probably going to get a ticket. So we had a presence in as many school zones as we could, and we plan on doing whatever we have to do in the JPD to keep our kids safe.
Okay. Last question for me: the armed suspect in the back of the cop car.
Yes, you know, from what I know about that, and we've got an investigation going, what it appears to me is that our officer did not do a thorough enough job in searching that individual. And quite frankly, we are very blessed that that didn't turn into a tragedy. So we'll correct that, whether it's through the disciplinary action process or whether it's through training. But we take that very, very seriously, and we understand that that could have been a deadly situation very, very easily, and we're going to take corrective action.
Now, while we're kind of hitting all the high spots here,
Let's hit 'em.
did we ever figure out what happened, or were there ever any charges filed in the standoff/hostage situation, whatever that was on McDowell Road the other day?
The answer is no. We spent a lot of time out there. We exhausted a lot of resources. But let me just say this, I would rather it turned out the way it did than for us not to take it seriously and somebody ended up getting hurt or killed. We don't have the luxury of knowing how it's going to end when we started. We got a complaint over the phone by an individual who said that he was being held against his will at that particular location. It took all day practically to get everybody out of that house before we could say that it was safe. None of the other individuals who came out of the house said that they were being held against their will. But what it took so long is that we were given that information. Before we could find out whether that information was true or false, we had to get every single person out of there, right? There were some people in there who said that they were asleep and they did not hear the commands by our SWAT team. For what reason they were sleeping so soundly, I don't know. You also probably know that we took some weapons and we took some drugs out of that house. But we were not able to match either of those items up with any of the individuals that we took out of the house. The configuration of that dwelling was separated into rooms where different people occupied the rooms. It was a rooming house in short, right? So it's hard for us to figure out what piece of dope belongs to who. So again, it was a long day, a very bizarre situation, but we didn't have the luxury of knowing that ahead of time. And I'm happy, I'm comfortable. I would rather do it like that again to make sure that nobody was in danger, and that's what we found out. Anything else?
Is that good?
Good.
All right. Let's go down to the basement.
All right.
Yeah, let's go straight.
So in case you just tuned in, you just got to hear all of the updates from Chief Vance, and now we're going to the basement for a perp walk, which hopefully I'll be able to get for you guys too. What we talked about was the Violence Reduction Network, which we wrote about in the Clarion Ledger at clarionledger.com earlier this week. In addition, the chief addressed a lawsuit that has been amended against Jackson Police Department to include Commander Tyree Jones, and he actually said that he wished that lawsuit would, or that it would go to trial today. He said he's not afraid of any of the allegations. He said there's not a lot he can comment on right now, but that at this point he is ready to go to trial on this because he emphasized that everyone in the room would have to talk under oath. We also talked a little bit about the Fair Commission and how JPD will be reimbursed for the last 2 years of working at the fair. And we talked about the most recent arrests in the 50th homicide. There were 2 suspects that were arrested, Ken Jarl Thomas and Rashawn Crowley. So there's that as well, and we're about to go see their perp walk. So that's what you saw. I'm really, really sorry about the technical difficulties that we had during all that. We were getting a terrible signal, and clearly only 2 of you watched all the way through, but I appreciate you too. So that's what we've got here from Jackson Police Department. I'm Teresa Abel with the